Good morning, guys. So this presentation, which I'm going to pick it up, it is part of our project, Green Growth Skills Project, which we won from the North of Tyne Fund in 2022, and it is very near to finish it now. I hope it will be publicly available by the end of this year. So £250,000 project, which we won. It was the initial actually stage of this grant. So here, the important thing which we will talking about the retrofitting. So when we talk about the retrofitting, there comes the two things in our mind. One type is basically the selective demolition of the external the layers, the skin of the building, which have a different segregation, and that material can be sometimes easily separated. There comes some parts internally, we call them fit out. So fit out involves a lot of interior things like your furniture, your interior activities like behind the door, walls, your like electrical, plumbing and such pipelines. So the nature of both of the materials are different. And these wastes are absolutely different than the C&D waste. So when we talk about the construction waste, we majorly talk about C&D waste, which is majorly 75% portion, 70 to 75 per portion. Handling of C&D waste is quite easy. We have given targets by European Union, and currently our target in the UK is a 75% reuse of that material. Whereas UK, if you guys are aware of it, utilizing 95% of their own existing C&D waste by converting into aggregate and putting into roads and different usage. Also, it is not a proper R, like a refuse, reuse and recycling, but just a reuse, but at least they are making. Whereas in the fit outside, the retrofitting side, there comes a problem which we are trying to look in this particular project. So there comes some solution. First of all, this waste cannot be avoided. There is always ongoing activities in any building, and if you guys are aware of it, in each building within the life of 60 years, we have a 20 times on average different changes. That could be new material is coming, old material is going out, there could be partition, there could be many changes. For example, where you are sitting currently, this is a kind of a presentation room. Might be in the future, the head of department will think, my faculty has no classroom, their offices. So let's convert it into small offices, 4 offices, 6 offices. Then there comes another plan after 5 years. Maybe they will believe, okay, we have a lot of students now this year, we need laboratories. So there will comes another demolishing activities. So within each 3 to 5 years, there are such kind of activities keep happening. New waste generation activities keep going on. So this is how we can say these wastes are very difficult to manage, but of course there comes some solution by going slightly back, looking into our design phase, making some designs in a smart way. Whenever there comes some need of change, we can easily adapt to that situation. And there comes the recycling. Still some materials have a propensity which we can easily modify and we can reuse and we can bring it into proper circular cases. So that is our idea, and we are going to, we have a proposed solution through this project, which I'm going to give you over here idea. But in this construction industry, since we are talking about retrofitting, and the retrofitting case is where you have a client and there is a bigger need of client, and the client is not having expertise, relying quite a lot on the contractor. And then contractor is thinking a lot of on the outcome for their income. And then there comes the material issues, material selection, and then their future need, which is we call it. In the 3 angles, I normally call it in this particular way. Your embodied carbon, embodied circularity, and embodied health. So we in the construction industry oftentimes talks about embodied carbon, embodied circularity for the future, sometimes we miss this element here. When I'm talking about retrofitting, most important factor we miss sometimes, which is embodied health. So where we are sitting currently here, there could be some small chemicals which might trigger down in the room temperature. We call them VOCs. And some which maybe go temperature slightly going further upward, so which maybe can further spark like SVOCs. So there comes a health impact, there comes a material impact, there comes a cost related impact. So all these issues arises when the stakeholders are not collaborating. There are quite silos between the communications, and although we in the construction waste management, we have some certain tools which can give us some solution, like a material passports are available, some dashboards are available in the regular material you can manage, and some governments are pretty much working very well. The same side, when there is a design activity happening, mostly stakeholders are quite isolated. So there is no particular technique which they can bring close to them, and they can provide the solution sets for the future. So here comes the BIM comes in front, which is basically on the single one formula works: model, modeling, and the management. So you have a design ready in your hand, and then you are going to present in a very featured element on every element, and then there comes management, which is obviously starting from the model side and then till the end, which is going to be demolished. So each stakeholder is coming close. The single one word on this BIM is a visualization, presenting your picture from very early days, and you can see your cost, you can see your sustainability element, and any problem which will trigger, you can see earlier. There comes some problem, for example, whenever we integrating some techniques, AI, BIM, digital twin, anything, which, for example, we are taking AI and BIM, we have some problems like a data interpretability issues. These tools and softwares work in their different silos. Integrating them, there are some problems currently which are observing, and there comes inaccurate data. In the mostly cases when we are not working for the C&D base, we are working on the each client have a different needs. They have a different waste sorting, and the waste, particularly in the fit out and the retrofitting, is a different nature. So there could be furniture, there could be concrete inside, there could be other sort of material. So the keeping their record is very difficult. Even their EPDs are not consistent. If you will take my example in taking looking into UK side, 1/3 of material is coming without EPD specifications, without that one. So having not such details clarity, well, there could be a problem to manage in the future. Standardizations are issue. Here again, whenever we are using material, there comes some standardization. What kind of material you will use when you are using, for example, in heritage buildings inside the city, and what kind of materials you will use outside the city. There comes some policy-wise standardization which are not consistent, and we are going to throw some pictures on it. So these things basically lead over there. Implication become problematic, then inaccuracy in future actions, and the no standard procedures when benchmarks different firms usually adopt on this case. So we adopt here one element which basically based on the artificial intelligence here by utilizing ANN, having a different our neurons as an input phase, and having a process phase where basically they can connect, and this is what in the upcoming slides we are going to produce over here. And this is hand in hand which is going to be through with the support of building information modeling. And then finally, solution set we are producing whenever there comes, we are deciding any material, it can give us a point on the red flag if this would work or not. So we got some solution with that one to present accurate way. These technologies have early adoption, and this is what we are picking up from the industry, what are their views, and these are, because of short of time, I'm not explaining, and the next part I will pick up quickly. The material sorting I have already presented in the very first stage. Sorting is a very big problem in these kind of waste. Reusability of these materials is very difficult. C&D waste, we are using 95%, whereas these wastes mostly go to the landfill. If I present you the landfill figures inside UK, we were having 478 million ton in 2012, whereas currently our figures are dropping down to 325. So each year our landfill capacity is reducing. Most of the material which we are working, having a fit out, as well as these activities are producing problem. So here, as presented previously, these tools which are working on the historical database, having a EPD, similar previous cases, material stocks, and in the form of ANN, where they process it, and then they can make it as design and as a client approach to make an informed decision for all the stakeholders. Here we brought the 3-stage formula. First of all, material stock, which is basically our past data. The second stage is BIM and AI working together as a process stage. And the third one is basically solution set as a design and as a built model to provide a solution set. So here as a input stage, there comes the second process stage, there comes the third, sorry, I'm just quickly picking up, but would be very happy to discuss things later on, how we are basically utilizing all the stakeholders in loop to produce a solution in that case. These are the list of problems: interpretability problems, technical problems, industries or non-acceptability problem. This is what we all the way go through from the literature part so far. Okay, so there comes some solution in the form of deconstruction. This deconstruction is not in the form of modular construction, but in the form of fit-out construction. I'm taking you example over here and putting you through one case study, which basically Barclays, when they closed their banks, they worked with the Incor Corporation, and they had a 300 branch shutdown. So I can share you complete details how they manage their waste without putting even single penny, and on the net zero principle. So this is what construction corporation activities. Here, as previous slide in detail way BIM, how it will work. Going further, how investment could lead towards sustainable profit, and these were our objective. In the previous slides, I covered this objective, and the upcoming how we are industries. How much time I have? All right. So very quickly, we got some two factors as an input, one the last output, and then mediations and moderation to understand what industry believe in this case. Moderators are mostly basically your challenges, and mediators are extra supporting factors here. So we have altogether 9 factors. Then we developed this conceptual framework where we brought like data integration challenges are mostly in existing waste management and building information modeling, and there comes early challenges like this technology is quite a new, I mean embedding integration becomes a kind of a problem, and then economic issues are obviously still there. Sometimes contractors don't think beyond their earning, so that is a still problem. So we while collecting data from the 300 plus industry specialists with the support of Okana Group, previously the BIM based organization. So we believe all these factors are actually interacting. They are playing as a negative role. So industry is still not ready for the proper implications of AI and BIM in this case. So these plot analysis are basically presenting. All right, so this is very quickly when we perform the structural equation modeling, so directly and indirectly perform these all the factors are playing contribution towards outcome, towards our construction waste management in the retrofitting side. But there comes, whenever we involve multiple factors inside, there comes a partial support. It leads to one theory which is very famous, system theory. Like you all need to work as a hand in hand, like otherwise might be not working perfectly. So these were our findings. Click, click, click. This was a slightly red sign. Otherwise, BIM and AI integration cannot be worked alone in that. There comes some qualitative description to understand what industry is thinking, mostly construction waste management.
3 minutes out of time, so we need to.
So it go on from the question answer as well.
Yeah, but you.
Oh, okay.
Time from there as well. So.
I'm skipping it. Happy to pick up. So this was actually comprehensive research based on our project. So that's why it took a little bit longer, but in the break we can talk. So thank you very much. Project in Horizon 27. So
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.